I feel so like stiff and uncomfortable. I could like crime, crime. I can commit crime. I can cry and scream and yell because I feel like, what is this? This is also the first time I think that I actually flipped my phone camera around so I can't actually see myself talking to the camera, like seeing myself while I'm talking, which I think actually may be a good thing because otherwise I'd be like subconsciously the whole time like observing myself, analyzing and subconsciously maybe judging how it comes out instead of just talking to these little dots of the camera in the back. But at the same time, I feel like kind of weird because I get like no feedback at all. But anyhow, this is just part of the journey to get the reps in, to feel more comfortable speaking out loud, feeling weird and weirdly exposed by your own self in a uncomfortable situation that nobody else can see it except if you decide to put it in. But yeah, today I wanted to talk about stretching. Why is it super important for your performance, how it affects your aesthetics, the way your muscles look like, and also how it affects your overall feel in your body and your mental as well. So let's start with the first thing. Like performance, obviously, stretching is really important for range of motion. This was one of the first things my old boxing coach told me back in the days when I was boxing. Back in the days, as if it was like 100 years ago. But he told me like one thing, especially for the biceps. I don't know if the camera height is well and you can see it, but basically, like a lot of people like train their biceps like in a very short range of motion where they go like only to this, to like they say to keep the tension or to get like a better pump, but actually it really messes up your whole muscle system because you train the muscle because the muscle obviously as well has a memory. You train the muscle to only like work in this range of motion. So then if you're doing like some other activity, for example boxing, where you got to put out punches which are like longer or have like different movements where you gotta flow more, have also some tension in a range of motion that you're not used to, your muscle can like rip if it goes too far, and then you have a big injury, got to go to the hospital, and it's no bueno. So what you should do is obviously first thing like train every lift through the whole range of motion. What he told me to go like all out, all the way down, like not just with curls, also with bench press, not have it like here or push-ups, but go like all the way, contract your scapula, like your back as well, and go like all the way out. I know I don't have like a lot of space to like demonstrate it, which I'm also gonna do in a separate video. I just wanna to talk about the benefits of stretching here and get my little ramblings across a little bit more. Excuse me. But yeah, like one thing is the performance aspect, because you get like better ranges of motion, which means you activate more muscles. You can like be strong and work around, be agile, athletic in different various ranges of motion, which is super important. It prevents injuries. Of course, also like stretching, especially like static stretching, should only be done if you're sufficiently warmed up, and usually also after the training. Like it's not really good, but it's like common knowledge, but I'm just gonna say it as a disclaimer to go into like a full static stretching session when you're like completely cold or when you're planning on doing like some strength training later on. Like in the beginning, like in the beginning, it's always better to do like some dynamic movements and like light stretching, like some shaking and stuff to get warm. And then afterwards, you can do the real stretching when you're sufficiently warm already. So how does it affect your aesthetics, you're probably wondering, or the way my muscles look? Like, I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's just like bro science or like my own theory. Like there probably are some studies that could back this up or contradict this, but I'm not here to tell you a bunch of studies or anything. I'm just gonna tell you what my personal opinion is, and you can accept it or research it or reject it, whatever you want. You free to do with it as you will. But what I've come to notice, or also to think, is that stretching greatly can influence the way your muscles look like. Like for example, if you see like a lot of bodybuilders or people who are like very much into like getting as big as possible, they probably don't stretch a lot. Like if you see, obviously after a certain point of muscle growth, your mobility probably also gets like hindered in a certain way, but probably they're also not really doing a lot of mobility work or stretching to get like mobile and be like free in movement, because they only train like a certain way, right? But what I've noticed is that a lot of times that doesn't really look aesthetic anymore. Like me personally, I think it was a lot more, or had to do a lot more with this aesthetics back in the 50s, maybe 60s, 70s as well, but they were still getting like pretty big. Like Arnold, for example, was like a huge guy. He was aesthetic, but he was definitely pushing like the maximum. But I'm talking more about like the Steve Reeves, or back in those days in the, I don't know what's it called, the silver era of bodybuilding, where the people were training a lot more like in proportion to the Greek ideal, like putting trying to attain what the Greek statues did with the whole ratio and things, which also like resonates a lot with my approach and how I view aesthetics. And now it's just about like getting huge. And what I found, like people who look more aesthetic, that's the whole point I wanted to make, is they stretch a lot more, because obviously like you get a better stretch in the workout, but also like afterwards, because your muscles hold so much tension, it's also important to like give them a good stretch every once in a while, to like really stretch out the whole, how you call it, fabric, fascia, everything underneath, to really lengthen it again, and then it gets like a good form, like an aesthetic nice form. If you see like a lot of dancers or super ripped, or Olympians, athletes, they all like stretch quite a lot, and they usually look better than people who are just training stiffly all day. Also, like looking better may be the wrong thing to say, but what I mean, like in my sense of aesthetics and beauty, I would say that they look more aesthetic, they look healthier, more well proportioned. But yeah, for me it is better, but objectively everyone can do and live the aesthetic they want to be. They're free to do that, obviously. And another thing, the last part probably I wanted to attach to stretching, why it is also important, is how you feel and how it affects your mentality as well. Like, because we all know, if you like do some sports, do like some regular strength training or lifting for like a few months or years even, like at some point you feel like the shoulders are clicking and cracking, and you like tense. Like me personally, I've had a lot of issues with like neck tension, and it like gets to you after the years accumulate, you know. And obviously being active also should enhance your life, but it can enhance your life like more holistically if you only focus on one aspect, which is strength training, if you don't take other parts as well, like mobility, stretching, which are also super fundamental. And the thing is that we humans, like animals also, we carry all our like tension, not only from training, but all our emotional tension, all the stress, everything gets like saved into the muscles, especially here in this area around the trapezius, but all over the body. And what animals do, like instinctively, after like they had a traumatic experiences, or they like ran away, for example, a zebra that ran away from a lion and made it out alive and escaped, they just instinctively like shake themselves, like really uncontrollably shake out everything out of the muscles, and then they're fine again because they got it out of their system. But we as humans, we don't do that. Like nobody tells you like, oh yeah, you should like shake it out, because people would look at you weird, like what is this? But recently I've been, for the past few months, I've been reading and researching a lot more about like our lymphatic system or fascia system, and how it affects also greatly how our muscles feel, how tense we are. And there's also like a broader topic for some other videos, but basically know just that everything gets stored in your body, and there are different ways, like I said, for example, like shaking, or like doing hops and different things, or jumping rope, running also, but also like stretching to get like a big stretch, feel like tight areas, how they lengthen. And I really notice the difference. Like if I miss a day stretching, I feel a lot more like tight and tense and fatigued than if I have a day where I'm stretching like really well, and I realize like I'm a lot more loose in the body, like I feel good, like I feel I can move. And yeah, just that I feel like a little bit tight now in front of the camera, instead of being like my usual looser self. I don't know also why I'm this excited, maybe to just share this, to talk, to hopefully convey it in a digestible, good way. But I think I tried my best for the day. And if you enjoyed this, if you learned something, I hope you like it, and subscribe, and come here for next time. We have a little chat. And until then, I wish you a wonderful day. Goodbye.